Herkese merhabalar. Ben Hakan Ertem, Marmara Üniversitesi Güzel Sanatlar Fakültesi'nde öğretim üyesiyim. Bugün çok şanslıyım, böyle bir kitleyle karşılaştım. İkinci büyük şansım da böyle bir sandalyede oturuyorum. 7 yıl bölüm başkanlığı yaptım, böyle bir şeyde oturmadım fakültemde. Beni lütfen İstanbul'a böyle gönderin. Yani annem de görsün bir kere. Yani çok isterim. Rektör görse kıskanır. Yani koltuğu yani. İnanın 7 yıl böyle bir şeyde oturdum. 3 yılı tahta sandalyede geçti. Sonra bir tane aldık. Ama bu bambaşkaymış. Yani çok teşekkür ederim. Şimdi CLAUDI Hanım'ı dinleyeceğiz. Kendisi bize bir sunum yapacak. Ondan sonra da sorularla devam edeceğiz. Buyurun efendim.
Thank you. Thank you very much. So, first of all, I would like to thank you for the invitation. I'm very happy to be here in Istanbul or close to Istanbul. I'm very happy to see so many people here, and especially so many young people, the next generation of designers, the next generation of architects. I'm very happy to see in so many young faces. And I would like to introduce myself a little bit. My name is Claudia Küchen. I'm speaking in English because I'm from Germany. So I know some words in Turkish like merhaba and teşekkürler. This is something that I can say, but I'm sorry I have to speak in English now, but maybe some of you can understand me when I'm talking quite slow, but I'm very happy that we have this translation here. I'm the Executive Creative Director for Chatecor. And Chatecor is designing decor paper, designing surfaces that are used for furniture and flooring, for the furniture and flooring industry. And I'm working now for Chatecor since more than 20 years. I'm a textile designer and I developed myself at Chatecor, and now I'm responsible for the design, marketing and communication of the whole group of Chatecor. We have 18 facilities in all over the world. Why I'm mentioning this? Because I would like to let you know that we are working together with designers from all over the world. We have an international design team, and when we start to design new surfaces for flooring, for furniture, we have to know what consumers need and how they would like to live in the future. So a very strong part of our daily work is observation, because we are at the beginning of a long chain of processes. We have to know how the interior of tomorrow has to look like, or already when we start to develop a new design for a furniture surface. And we need to know how do the people in the world like to live in future. So therefore, it's really important also to watch how social changes look like. And we need also to know how do trends, mega trends, take an impact on the way how people would like to live in future. And you see the title of our trend book here. We develop trend books every year at Chatecor because we think it's very important that all our analyses and all our observations that we do and that we analyze, that we inform our customers, partners, and also designers and architects about our thought and what we find out. Because we have the chance to get in touch with designers from all over the world and discuss how global trends can take an impact on product developments. And therefore, we develop these books every year to give an orientation in this huge variety of different trends that we have in all over the world. I would like to inform you today how we think the world is going to look like in the future. I'm not talking about the trends of 2048, yeah? We do not know yet how the interior will look like then, but it's very important that we know how the interior looks like into 20, into 21, or into 22. So our concept is called Trends 2019, where we describe how megatrends take an impact on the interior. One megatrend which is really important is digitization. And I think I can't live anymore without digitization, because I need my smartphone all the time, and I know it's very close here, yeah, and because the digitization is organizing our life in these days. Yeah, it's something that all of us use to organize our time schedule, but also to get in touch with people. I'm traveling a lot, so I also need to know where's my family, how's my family doing. The smartphone helps me to be in touch with all my friends and families. Digitization also means that I can work also in other places. Yeah, I can work here on a Saturday in Turkey, but maybe on a project that I have in Brazil. So digitization allows us a lot of flexibility, gives us the possibility to be connected in a lot of networks. So digitization can also take an impact on my leisure time, on my private time, but of course also on my work time. Connectivity, I mentioned it already, is something that's really important in these days. At work, of course, we need the networks, we need to be connected to our partners, and the internet gives us as much as information as we need, and really fast, so the connectivity is very important, but also in private life. Urbanization is a very strong trend that will change our society a lot, because a lot more people move to the cities because of different reasons. I'm going to explain that later a bit more in details, but the cities of the big cities in the world, they are still growing and growing, and this will also change the way of living in future. And there is the demographic change, which is also very important. Generations are influencing each other. There are the older generations that are changing, because a lot of families are splitted in these days, because young people are studying somewhere in the world. Elderly people are maybe staying at home, so it's not the classic patterns of the family staying at one place is changing in these days. So this will also take an influence on seniors, and on the other side, younger generation, they have a lot of chances today that they use. So let's talk also about the demographic change in the society, and especially also at work. So all these megatrends take an influence on the way how we live, and this also takes an influence on the way how the houses look like and the interior, and we see that there are a lot of new needs for new housings, for new architecture. The mobility will change the way of architecture and houses and interior, because people move a lot more in these days, especially young people move a lot more because of education, of jobs they can have in all over the world. And this is something that takes an influence. But also, I mentioned elderly people. This is something really interesting, that we see that a lot of people who are getting older, when family is not living around, they are also moving to the cities because they prefer the infrastructure of the cities. They prefer also to stay in communities. So we see also new forms of living for the future, how people live together in communities. Working time is living time. So we can talk about time at work, but we can also talk about the leisure time. There are not anymore the strict borders between life and work, leisure time and work. There are not the strict borders. We talk about the work-life balance, and this is something which is really important. So this will take an influence also on the way how we are going to work in future and how the workplaces look like. So we identified 4 topics that we think are very important for the future. They describe lifestyles. They describe how people live and how they work and how they use their leisure time. So we are talking about micro, smart, community, and ageless. And I would like to describe you a little bit how these lifestyles look like, or how they could look like, because we are talking in general about the multidimensional lifestyles. This means there are no strict patterns. Micro does not always look the same. There's a lot of freedom how you can interpret that. But there's also something in common, and this is what I'm going to describe. In the future, there will be a lot of place for individuality, and people like to create or to live a very individual lifestyle. That's why we are talking about multi-dimensional lifestyles. We don't see the strict rules for special lifestyle. We could also see a mixture of all of them. So that's the freedom of the consumer to decide what they want. Micro is a lifestyle for people who like to live at different places in the world because of maybe education or because they're working in a business where they work for projects at different places. So they maybe move from one city to the other. They love traveling and they love mobility. They are strongly influenced by this urbanization trend. They are strongly influenced by digitization. So young people, especially working in creative business or working in the IT business, they love to choose interesting projects. And then, of course, because of the projects, they have to move to a special country or a special city. So they need to be very mobile and they need to be very flexible. They prefer to live in the cities because in the cities they have interesting infrastructure, they have interesting offers, fashion is in the cities, trends in the city, music. So this is how they love to live. But as you all know, and I know because I'm also living in a big city, the space in the cities are getting rare and the space is getting very expensive. So this target group here, they don't pay attention to costly. They don't want to spend a lot of money for their apartments, so they are also happy to have a small apartment. This is more efficient. They have a nice apartment, but they're living in the city. So we are talking here about the new concepts that we need for the future. These are the micro apartments. Architects are focusing now a lot on smart, intelligent solutions for the micro apartments. The micro apartments offer everything to their users, and the users don't have to move with a lot of furniture because very often these apartments offer already the solution of smart, intelligent furniture, multifunctional furniture, and this allows this target group here to spend more time for leisure time and for work because they love these interesting projects they're working on. So this is something that we need for our urban nomads. We call them urban nomads, or we call them also digital nomads because they are fascinated by digitization and use digitization a lot for connectivity and also for being more flexible. Yeah, their lifestyle, we call their lifestyle is on the go. Yeah, they are always prepared to go somewhere else to catch the next interesting project and to learn something new. So their interior, as I mentioned it before, is a modern, it's minimalistic. They don't like to have too much ballast, too much around them. And easy doing, yeah, is very more important for them. Yeah, they need to have space for working there, but not too much things and furniture. So we see a lot of interior here that's functional, multifunctional, has clear lines, and the materials here are characterized by solid colors in combination with light wood grain structures. We see pines here or oak, but very light colored in combination with the solid colors. This is a pine, for example, that can be used for floorings, and it's combined, as you can see it here in the picture, also with fresh, young, dynamic colors. And I was talking about young people here. But I do not only mean young by age, I also mean young by heart. These are people who are always interested in learning something new. And this can also be older people, yeah, not only the young generation, older people who love to have this lifestyle of being almost everywhere, yeah, to move around, to travel a lot in the world. So these people also like to work when they want and where they want. And for them, it's really important to reach the work goal. But they want to decide how they reach the work goal. So very often, they also work at home, yeah, and in a very unconventional way. They work at home, or they rent co-working spaces where they work together with other creative people. Yeah, of course, in their micro apartment, there's not a lot of space to make meetings there, but there are these third places, special places that they can rent to make an official business meeting. And you see the light colors very often. They like the wood grain structures. Also, they pay attention to a natural, healthy environment. So the structures that look like natural material or that create a cozy atmosphere are also very important here. So we have pine, oak. Yeah, and this is the second target group. And this is a target group that's also very strongly influenced by digitization. And this is a target group that also likes to have a very organized life. They work a lot, yes. They love to be connected at work. They love mobile working. Yeah, they use a lot of digital devices to be organized, well organized at work, to be informed, and to be prepared, always prepared. But this target group here, they organize their private life also in a similar way. They home in a similar way. So what they do is they have a lot of digital devices because they are technology affine, digital devices to do sports, for example, or to organize their kitchen, for example, with a smart refrigerator which tells them what they have to shop next, what is missing in the refrigerator. They have a very clear style. They like contrasts, clear contrasts. So they also like light wood grain structures in combination with light accessory colors. And what they also like is light stones, real stones, but then in combination with the warm color of a wood grain, so this touch of something that looks natural and creates a cozy atmosphere is very important here. Their focus is also on a very well-organized home, so the furniture as well has to have some smart, multifunctional functions, yeah, and so this is something. Also, high quality materials are very important here. They like to have materials that can be cleaned easily, and they love the contrast of matte and high gloss finishes. So, as I said, their interior is well arranged and well organized. This is a good example here. This decor on the right side is the Jackson Hickory. It's one of our designs that we sell globally. We see that there are also these global trends for interior in the world. Yeah, we can see that because this is one of the designs that gets attention, gets very good feedback from all markets in all over the world. Because it's easy to combine, you can combine it with light colors, with dark colors. And this is a really, really nice accentuation in such a well-organized and clear interior. The third target group is called community. The community describes a new way of living for communities. I think the most important community is the family. Yeah, but we have different forms of families now. We have the conventional classic form of the family, yeah, but we also talk about the patchwork families in these days. Yeah, and this is a new way. But we are also talking about new ways of communities or people living together. So young people sometimes share their apartment. So this is also a community. People come together. We are talking about co-living. Yeah, it makes sense. You can save money and you can share the space, which is quite costly in a lot of cities. And this is what young people very often do when they study. But nowadays, there are also people who live together when they're already working, because they don't want to spend too much money for the home and for the interior. They are more focused on their leisure time. They're more focused on maybe traveling, so they save their money for this. So they live in communities. And there's another reason. In these days where digitization is so important and where working is so important, they don't want to be alone. Yeah, where they're traveling so much for work and where they maybe have to move very often, they don't want to live alone. And so they are looking for communities with whom they can live together. And there's another form which I think is also really interesting and attractive, is that more generations very often share a house or a flat to help each other. And this is the kind of a family which is not a family. So, for example, elderly people who have to stay alone because their kids are in America or somewhere else and they don't want to leave their country and their culture, yeah, they would be alone. And there are young families, yeah, who live in a foreign country maybe or in another city. They have children and they have to work. They also need some support or help, and they are very happy if they can share the community with these people, these elderly people, because they can help to take care about the children. They can, tell stories, give their experience to the children. So they share, they come together in new forms of communities. We call that in Germany the more generation houses, and it's a concept that just started, but I think it's a clever concept which can help, because here people can support each other and have a good time together and learn from each other. This is also very important, yeah? And cook together and share maybe also cultural influences. So we are talking about these new ways of community, and very typical for this community is that they love to sit together at a long table, to chat together, to eat together, to work together, or for example, the children are doing their homework there. So in the interior of this community, there is very often a huge dining table or a huge kitchen where people come together. Yeah, the kitchen or the dining area is the center of this home for this community. And as I said, they are sharing housing and experiences, and they live a very health-conscious life. So they focus a lot on the quality of what they eat or the quality of the food. This is very important for them. And they maybe grow also their own food in the garden or on balconies. And the lifestyle here and the materials of the interior is very cozy. We have a lot of different structures that are combined. We have stones here. We have warm colors of wood grains. We have very natural looking wood grain designs, yeah, with cathedrals, with nuts, and of course warm colors also, and some very cozy colors for the accessories. Green is very important because the natural accessories are very important, like plants, for example, yeah, natural materials. And here you see the decoration with a lot of green plants is important. We have children here, so this style is not like the smart living style. It's more cozy. We have more materials, more furniture, and not everything is so well organized. Yeah, it's very natural and very authentic. We have oaks here. We have also rustic-looking oaks that have this vintage character fit into that style. And as I mentioned before, the table is the center for communication here in that target group. Now the ageless living target group is also a very interesting one because as all these styles describe or typical for all these styles is that these conventional patterns or classical patterns of how people have to live are fading away. Yeah, which means it gives us a lot of freedom to live our own individual lifestyle. So people who are getting older do not just want to get older, and they don't want to get older in the conventional way. So we have a lot of seniors in these days that are really interested in new technologies. They are really interested in learning after they retired, that they study or they read books or they talk and chat via internet with young people to exchange information, because very often they have a very valuable experience. They learned a lot in the past, and this experience is so valuable for young people. So young people, they come with their new skills of using new technologies, yeah, knowing everything about computers and how to use the computers and the softwares and the app and so on. So it's very important that generations exchange what they know. And this ageless living target group, this is a target group which is, they ignore their age. They say, in my last third of the life, I can live a dynamic life, I'm fit, I'm still interested in learning something new, and they also look like that. They don't look old, they look really young by heart, and they have a style, how they dress, which is very similar to how younger people dress, and their interior at home is a more classic style. Yeah, they are very interested in good quality and also in design, and they know a lot about design because they are interested in everything that's new. They also know a lot about trends, and they also know a lot about the interior trends, but they are not changing their interior so often. Their style is a bit more classic and timeless. So they use a lot of dark materials, dark stones, and dark wood grains, and of course also designs that have this authentic and natural character, valuable textiles, and as I mentioned, stones are very important here. Their lifestyle is casual. Yeah, this is also the new way of the modern ageless seniors. It's more casual, it's not old-fashioned, but it's also not too stylish. It's a really interesting modern mixture of different styles. And yeah, they want to work and communicate with younger people on a good eye level, and they're very open for the exchange and open to new ideas as well. Yeah, and this is the presentation. This was my presentation now about the interior trends that we see for tomorrow. Yeah, and this is the way how we think people are changing in the world. These are global trends. Of course, there are always interpretations for several markets because of mentality and culture. Therefore, we have at Çatekur designers in all our facilities that come originally from that country. We have also a Turkish designer here in Turkey, Sinem. She is also on the stage here in the afternoon, and she is our voice in Turkey. So if you are interested to visit our company in Gebze, she can also answer questions about design and about the trends that she sees, especially for Turkey or the Turkish market. And we have the trend book, so if you, especially you for the next generation of designers, if you like to have the trend book, we can send it to you. This is also possible. And I would like to thank you for the attention. And I would also like to ask you to follow us on Instagram if you like. I'm trying to get more followers now because we are started with the Instagram account and we have almost 5,000 followers. There are just a few missing, so if you would like to follow us on Instagram, I would be very happy. So from my side, thank you very much for your attention, and if you like to ask questions, I'm here to answer the questions.
Thank you very much. Sunum, öncelikle şunu söyleyeyim, benim için çok bilgilendirici oldu. Çünkü ben akademik ve mesleki olarak sizin sektörün biraz dışından geliyorum sayılır. Endüstri tasarımcısı olmama rağmen ben uzmanlık alanı olarak ağır taşıma araçları ve savunma sanayi ve demiryolu sektöründe daha çok çalışıyorum. Dolayısıyla bilmediğim çok şey öğrendim. Bulunduğum sektör sizden oldukça farklı yapısal olarak. Yani biraz şöyle tanımlayayım. Böyle bir akademik toplantı yaptığımızda gravatında yumurta lekesi olmayan kimse yoktur bizim sektörde. Biraz farklı bir sektördür. Çok şey öğrendim. Ben soru var mı diye soracağım salona, ama ben bir soru sormak istiyorum öncelikle, eğer müsaade ederse. Bütün bu trendler, dünyada şu anda büyük bir göç dalgası yaşanıyor. Kültürler birbiri içine giriyor, karışıyor. Doğudan batıya, batıdan doğuya veya Afrika'dan Avrupa'ya büyük bir göç dalgası yaşanıyor ve bunlar sosyal bir dönüşümü de beraberinde getiriyor. Bu dönüşüm, bu koşullar trendleri ne kadar etkileyecek? Biçim ve formu nereye sürükleyecek? Bu konuda bir görüşünüz var mı? Onu merak ediyorum efendim.
I agree to you. This is taken really an impact on a lot of markets, yeah. And of course there are new cultures, of course there are new influences, and the creative people, they catch everything, they can get everything that's new. So for sure designers and architects will take that into consideration when they design new products or when they design new interiors. And I think that the society, even if they are not aware exactly of the situation, they will accept that. That will take also an influence on the society. Yes, it will take a while, but for sure it will be obvious in a while, yes.
Salondan soru alabilir miyiz? Sorusu olan var mı? Evet, buyurun hocam.
for your presentation. And my question is, like, such a trend studies, we experiment in the classroom, or the companies like you, every year you create the trends. My question is the designer shaping the society, or the society guide the designer? Which one is?
The society is guiding the designer, that's for sure.
Okay.
And
then I have one more question.
but 1 second. The society is guiding the designer, because we have to watch how does, for example, politics take an influence. When there is something like a war or something like this, or crisis, this creates fear. This changed the way how people would like to stay at their home, or art is changing. There are a lot of influences. This is changing the society. We designers, we have already to know how we can react on this, how we can react on the need, or how we can react on a demand. So then we start to take an influence and shape a little bit. But it's without the society changes, we can't just make a trend and say you have to take this. This is not possible. We have to watch the society. This is guiding us at the beginning, and then we react.
Okay. And then another question, may I? Bir soru daha sonra. Okay, okay then. It was connected. Devamıydı aslında. Aslında tek bir soru. Peki, and the images of the trends presentations always very clean cut. Always. It's kind of a designer's thinking. But what do you think? How much it's containing the reality of daily life? The trends, because we don't see any unorganized things, images. Like, I'm connecting with the immigrants, and there are some real photos, but we haven't seen them in the images. So where are they in the trends?
Well,
thank you.
We are a supplier for the wood-based industry. So we are at the beginning of the chain. We try to give our customers kind of inspiration. We give some impulses. This is a good idea. We could also show the pictures of the reality, but how can we show the pictures of the reality of tomorrow? Then we would have to create that. What we do is we just give the impulses how it could look like in future. Therefore, yes, you're right, we use these design pictures. We use pictures that describe how could it look like if it would be optimized, but it's not exactly the same. I said at the beginning, we have this freedom for individuality, multidimensional lifestyles. We mix things together. It won't look like exactly the same like that, but it will have several interpretations. I mentioned when we have seen the community trend, I said there are a lot of children, because we are talking about families, so the picture should be more unorganized, and this is comfortable, this is nice, it's cozy, it's not negative. Yeah, you're right, I agree to you. There should be more pictures or it would be nice to have more pictures of the reality of the future.
Just one more question from me. I think you are designing your trends that basing idea that prosperity is going to continue and is going up, because what I see the newer generation is, as you say, they like a multi-dimensional workspace and lifestyle, and they like to work less and have fun more. But what do you think this prosperity will continue? Because what I see in the world right now is the household income is not increasing at all, but the cost of the goods that we are purchasing is decreasing all the time, and I think there is an end for this.
Yeah.
So do you think this prosperity will continue for let's say next 5 years, or what's your idea on this? I want to understand, because you are talking like me about the future, so I like to hear your idea. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it's interesting because, as you said, the houses are getting more expensive. Yeah, but what I think is we need to offer more packages that are solutions for the customers. So for the consumers, we need to have good, affordable solutions for them. It's difficult because I think it's going to change within the next years, but How exactly it will look like, I don't know, but definitely something that has to be solved.
My question is about observation. I mean, it is okay. We have to spend time for observation, and we have to observe. And like archaeologists, people think that they go on site, they dig, but they spend more time in the libraries than they spend on site. And I know you are traveling a lot, and in daily life, in daily business, we are all stuck in our offices and across our computers. So how can we create, how can we reserve time for observation? And I think we do not really save so much time for observation.
This is something, I mean, we have a lot of new young designers sitting here, yeah? And I think you recognized already when you were younger that there is something in your body that you have a kind of a gut feeling for changes and for trends. This is something that we designers have. We don't need to read the books always or to make observations like taking time to do the observation now. I need 2 hours to make an observation. This is not what we are doing. We are watching. When we are traveling, we are watching. We are collecting a lot of information every minute, every second. For sure, I did it during the last 3 days. Yeah, I had conversations. I got to know a lot of things about Turkey, and therefore, it's we start to remind things, and we make our observation every minute and say, okay, I could see this as a trend. This is typical for Turkey. So maybe we can transfer it into a decor, or we can transfer it into a new material. So I think this is very important. If you think you have to make an observation right now because you have 5 hours to do that, it doesn't work. You need to go out on the streets and watch the people. You have to read the newspaper. You have to be informed, like everyone, about what's going on in the world, and try to read the design magazines, of course, yeah, and try to find out about changes. But you have to create your own picture. Yeah, you have to listen to your gut feeling and to your emotions, and I think then it's easy. And what I'm really happy about is I have an international team. Yeah? So I get everything that they collect in their country as an information. We exchange, we communicate. We go out for dinner and we talk. And then we already observe. We already work. We work 24 hours, I think, on that. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank
Claudia.
you.
It's very
Thank
good.
you very much.